The air was thick in the chamber, a mixture of anticipation, tension, and the kind of unease that crept up when words cut sharper than knives. Representative Jasmine Crockett stood at the podium, her eyes steady, voice firm. Across the aisle, Steve Scalise leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, a sneer playing at the corners of his mouth. "Ms. Crockett," he began, voice loud enough for the room to hush, "you are unqualified." A ripple ran through the crowd, gasps, shuffling chairs, murmurs. Crockett paused, every eye fixed on her. Unqualified. The word echoed in the hall, bouncing off marble walls and into every spectator's ear. For a moment, she regarded him calmly. No flare-ups, no anger, at least none visible beyond the set of her jaw. Then, she walked forward, each step echoing confidence. "My qualifications," she said, her voice a clear bell in the chamber, "are not defined by your doubts, sir, nor by the whispers of those who prefer to see me small." She held up a file, thick with papers, transcripts, endorsements, years of service, votes, community projects, every inch of evidence she had built. "You say, unqualified. But let me show you, and everyone here, what it means to serve with purpose. What it means to fight for justice when voices get loud. What it means to stand firm even when you are judged before you speak." She paused, letting the weight of her words settle. Cameras flashed. Some faces were astonished, others skeptical. "I didn't run for this seat just to be seen. I ran to be heard, and to act." Scalise shifted in his seat. The room was hot now, not because of temperature, but because of the electricity in every heart. The next morning, media outlets were ablaze. Clips of Crockett's response circulated everywhere: social media, cable news, podcasts. Some praised her bravery, others debated whether she had overstepped. But one thing was clear: no one could ignore that moment. At her office, Crockett sat across from her aide, reviewing the feedback. "Some reporters are calling it historic," said the aide, eyes wide. "They're saying this could change perceptions of women, of black women in politics, of anyone dismissed before being heard." Crockett nodded. "I expected that some would agree, and some would not. But the question now is, what next?" Meanwhile, Scalise held a press conference. His voice was measured, his tone defensive. "I spoke my mind. I stand by my words," he said, but his tone betrayed uncertainty. Over the following days, there were letters, demands for debate, interviews. Crockett was invited onto panels. She declined some, accepted others. One television anchor asked, "Do you feel you changed something with that speech?" She drew in a breath. Change doesn't happen with one speech. It happens when people decide not to let words define their worth. It happens when people rise, again and again, after being dismissed. She began drafting legislation, measures to protect the dignity of public officials under assault, and to promote transparency in how qualifications are judged publicly. She met with constituents who told her they had felt unqualified, not by education, but by prejudice. She met with activists, community leaders, young people. And slowly, momentum built. On the floor of Congress again, a few weeks later, the same chamber where she was once called unqualified, Crockett stood. Not to respond to a personal insult this time, but to propose a law, one that sought to ensure accountability when public figures cast aspersions on others in power, especially when those remarks shaped public perception. Her voice rang out, "If being unqualified is the word you used, I invite you, and everyone here, to consider, are we, as a society, prepared to allow words to harm more than they enlighten? Are we ready to hold ourselves accountable for the weight of our speech?" Whispers. Some nods. A few skeptical faces. And in that moment, she did not just respond, she transformed the moment into a movement.